The First Come One's Praises, Chapter 6, Sutra. At that time, the World Honored One emitted a great bright light from his entire body, totally illuminating Buddha lands as many as grains of sand in millions of billions of Ganges rivers. His strong voice reached all the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas in those Buddha lands, as well as the gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits, humans, non-humans, and others, as he said, "Listen today as I praise Earth-star Bodhisattva Mahasattva, who displays inconceivable awesome spiritual strength and compassionate power throughout the 10 directions in rescuing and protecting beings who are suffering for offenses they have committed. After I pass into tranquility, all of you Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, and all of you gods, dragons, ghosts, spirits, and others should use vast numbers of expedient means to protect this sutra and to cause all beings to attain the bliss of nirvana." After that was said, a Bodhisattva named Universally Expansive, rose in the assembly, placed his palms together respectfully, and said to the Buddha, "We are now about to witness the World Honored One praising Earth-star Bodhisattvas' inconceivably great awesome spiritual virtue. We hope that the World Honored One will also aid beings in the future Dharma ending age by telling us about how Earth-star Bodhisattva benefits people and gods and about the workings of cause and effect. That will help the gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, along with beings of the future, to receive the Buddha's teaching respectfully." Commentary, Chapter 6, The First Come One's Praises. Like we said many times before, the First Come One is the Buddha. Praises include compliments. This is Chapter 6. The Earth-star Sutra contains 13 chapters. This is an explanation of Chapter 6. There are 7 more chapters. At that time, the World Honored One emitted a great bright light from his entire body, an indication of the profound importance of the Earth-star Sutra. Totally illuminating Buddha lands as many as grains of sand in millions of billions of Ganges rivers is this light. His strong voice is as loud as thunder or a lion's roar. Most people are delighted with and respectful because of the Buddha's voice. For example, some people lecture on the sutras with a voice that is not very loud and clear, so that listeners get drowsy and do not wish to listen to anymore. A lecturer's voice must be crystal clear, like a copper bell. Even if audience members are sleepy, they will wake up because of such a strong and clear voice. People are happy with the Buddha's voice, so they do not fall asleep. The more they listen, the happier they are. They hear one line and want to hear the next line, as if they are eating something delicious and do not wish to let go. Although the Buddha's voice is loud, it is not the same as when we yell so that our voice sounds scratchy, volatile, or fuzzy. People hear the Buddha's strong and clear voice and enter the samadhi of hearing the Dharma. Unfortunately, we were not born during the time of the Buddha and do not get to hear the Buddha's voice. Sorry, it is too bad. Reached all the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas in those Buddha lands, as well as the gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits, humans, non-humans, and others, as he said, "Listen today as I praise Earth-star Bodhisattva Mahasattva, who displays inconceivable awesome spiritual strength and compassionate power throughout the worlds in the 10 directions, in rescuing and protecting beings who are suffering for offenses they have committed." Why do I praise Earth-star Bodhisattva? It is because A Bodhisattva's compassion is inconceivable. His wisdom is inconceivable. His awesome might is inconceivable. And the wonderful uses of his spiritual powers are all inconceivable. He vows to save beings who have committed offenses in particular. He believes that people who do not commit offenses do not suffer so much. People who commit offenses suffer too much. They suffer the worst suffering among all types of sufferings. The Buddha said, "After I pass into tranquility, all of you bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and all of you gods, dragons, ghost spirits, and others should use vast numbers of expedient means to protect this Earth Star Sutra." See, while we are explaining the Earth Star Sutra, the Eightfold Pantheon of gods, dragons, etc., as well as great bodhisattvas are all here providing protection and to cause all beings to attain the bliss of nirvana, permanence, bliss, true self, and purity. After that was said, the Bodhisattva named universally expansive rose in the assembly, placed his palms together respectfully, and said to the Buddha, "We are now about to witness the World Honored One praising Ashtar Bodhisattva's inconceivably great awesome spiritual virtue. I see now that the World Honored One is about to praise Ashtar Bodhisattva for his many inconceivable mighty spiritual virtues. Like those mentioned earlier, we hope that the World Honored One will also aid beings in the future Dharma ending age by telling us about how Ashtar Bodhisattva benefits people and gods and about the workings of cause and effect. That will help the gods, dragons, and the rest of the Eightfold Division, along with beings of the future, to receive the Buddha's teaching respectfully." Sutra. At that time, the World Honored One said to the Bodhisattva universally expansive and to all those in the Fourfold Assembly, listen attentively. I will briefly describe to you how Ashtar Bodhisattva's virtuous deeds keep benefiting people and gods. Commentary. At that time, the World Honored One said to the Bodhisattva universally expansive and to all those in the Fourfold Assembly of Bhikshus, Bhikshunis, Upasakas, and Upasikas, and others such as the Eightfold Division of gods, dragons, and others. Listen attentively, think it over carefully and listen. Pay attention, do not be casual, but listen especially attentively. I will briefly describe to you how Ashtar Bodhisattva's virtuous deeds keep benefiting people and gods. I will now briefly describe Ashtar Bodhisattva for all of you in the Great Assembly about the blessed and virtuous deeds he does to help humans and celestial beings. What are blessed and virtuous deeds? According to one article called Great Standards in the Book of History that contains 9 sections that explains 5 types of blessings. The first type of blessing is called blessings and longevity. What are blessings? Blessings means being very much at ease with everything. Longevity means a long life and not a short life. One is shown upon by the stars of blessings, prosperity, and longevity. Blessings are natural so that you are very much at ease. Prosperity could be one's monthly income from being a government official. Longevity, or son of the South Pole in China, is mostly bald and wears a long white beard. He is said to be the immortal man of South Pole in Taoism. His head contains 3 volumes of celestial texts, so he knows everything. He is the elderly prosperity star. The second type of blessing is affluence and nobility. The third type refers to a healthy and safe body. The fourth type means enjoying, cultivating virtues, and doing good deeds. With this type of blessings, one is willing to do what is virtuous. The fifth type of blessing is a peaceful passing. There are also 5 kinds of virtues: mild-mannered, kind, respectful, frugal, and yielding. Who has these 5 kinds of virtues? Confucius. What are the 5? The first is the mild-mannered, neither too cold nor too hot. Too cold, one is like the silent and stoic Lord Quan all the time. The second virtue is kindness. The third type is a virtue is respect, always respectful toward others without slighting others. The fourth type is frugality and simplicity. One does not waste any material resources. For example, one usually eats 5 bowls of rice but reduces one's intake to 3 bowls, leaving the other 2 bowls for those who are starving. One maintains a simple lifestyle. One serves oneself a simple and restricted diet. One treats the guests without letting the meal linger on. We must try to save on what we use, what we wear, what we eat, what we live in, so that none of it is excessive. The most important thing is frugality. The fifth type of virtue is yielding. Do not rush forward to fight for anything. Yield means letting other people be number one. Let other people enjoy the good things and pick up bad things ourselves. This is yielding. Politely yield. These are the 5 virtues. Speaking of yielding, Kong Rong at the age of 4 knew to yield his pair. Kong Rong was someone before the Three Kingdoms period in China. He was in a real high political office. When he was 4 years old, some guests brought a gift basket made out of bamboo, a pair for his family. The elders told him to get a pair, and what does he do? He picks the smallest one. The guests ask, "Why don't you pick a big one? Why don't you pick such a small pair for yourself?" He said, "I am the youngest. I should eat a small one. My older brothers are older than I am, so they should eat the big ones." He yielded the bigger pairs for his brothers and took the smallest one for himself. Later, he reached a very high office. During the Han Dynasty, Huang Xiang, at the age of 9, knew to warm his parents' bed. Every night at bedtime, he would go and sleep on his parents' bed so that it is warm before he goes to sleep on his own bed. He shows his filiality by warming up the bed, which is a type of virtuous conduct. The 5 virtues are about being mild-mannered, kind, respectful, frugal, and yielding. Sutra. Universally expansive replied, "Excellent, world-honored one, we will be happy to listen." The Buddha told the Bodhisattva universally expansive, "If in the future good men or women, upon hearing Earth-Star Bodhisattva Mahasattva's name blaze, the palms together, praise him, bow to him, or gaze at him in worship, they will overcome 30 years worth of offenses. Universally expansive, if good men or women gaze upon and bow but once to painted or drawn images of the Bodhisattva or images made of clay, stone, lacquer, gold, silver, or bronze, they will be reborn 100 times in the heaven of the 33 and will eternally avoid falling into the evil destinies. If their blessings in the heavens come to an end and they are born in the human realm, they will become national leaders who will suffer no loss of benefits. There may be women who dislike having female bodies. Suppose they wholeheartedly make offerings to images of Earth-Star Bodhisattva, such as paintings or images made of clay, stone, lacquer, brass, iron, or other materials. If they continually make offerings day after day without fail of flowers, incense, food, drink, clothing, colored silks, banners, money, jewels, and other items. Then, when those good women finish their current female retributions, throughout the thousands of millions of years, they will never again be born in worlds where there are women, much less be one, unless they choose to through the strength of their compassionate vows in order to liberate beings. Based on the strength of their offerings to the Bodhisattva and the power of their meritorious virtues, they will not be born with female bodies for hundreds of thousands of years. Commentary. Universally expansive Bodhisattva replied, "Excellent, world honored one. We will be happy to listen." The Buddha told the Bodhisattva universally expansive, if in the future good men or women who received the 5 precepts and practiced the 10 good deeds, upon hearing Earth-Star Bodhisattva Mahasatva's name, placed their palms together when they see an image of Earth-Star Bodhisattva, praise him, saying that Earth-Star Bodhisattva is a real great Bodhisattva who is truly compassionate, uses his spiritual powers in wonderful ways. He is really incredible. All they bow to him or gaze at him in worship. They may not wish to leave the image of Earth-Star Bodhisattva that they see. They stay in a place to look, forgetting to eat or anything else. This is similar to someone being infatuated with something and forgets everything else. They will overcome 30 years worth of offenses. Universally expansive, if good men or women who received the 5 precepts and practiced the 10 good deeds gaze upon and bow but once to painted or drawn images of the Bodhisattva Earth-Star, or images made of clay, stone, lacquer, gold, silver, or bronze, they will be reborn 100 times in the heaven of the 33 and will eternally avoid falling into the evil destinies. With the merit of bowing to Earth-Star Bodhisattva, they will never fall into the evil destinies. If their blessings in the heavens come to an end, and they are born in the human realm, they will become national leaders who will suffer no loss of such a major benefits. People who are kings now bowed to Earth-Star Bodhisattva before. Presidents of nations had some merit from the past too. There may be women who dislike having female bodies. Do not be satisfied with having a female body, because the female body is the form of trouble. First, guest-like objects come, then horse-like objects come a few days later. Isn't that so much trouble? Women may cry for no reason all of a sudden, smile for no reason all of a sudden, get angry for no reason all of a sudden, and then become distressed for no reason all of a sudden. Isn't that so much trouble? Why is a female body so troublesome? I'm not saying this to make you hate the female body so that you will live the householder's life and become a bhikshu or bhikshuni. The female body is really so much trouble. That is why some women do not want to be women. Why be a woman? Let us study this. It is because the female habits such as envy, obstructionism, greed for petty gain, and vanity, etc. are so ingrained. They become women in the future lives as a result. However, if you were to respect Earth-Star Bodhisattva, then all these problems dissolve. If you do not resolve these issues, then women's 5 obstructive tendencies and 10 evils are no fun. What are the female's 5 obstructive tendencies? The first obstruction is that women cannot become a great Brahma Heaven King in this lifetime. Why? Great Brahma Heaven Kings become accomplished in their cultivation through pure conduct. The female body is most impure, so they cannot become great Brahman Heaven Kings. The second obstruction, women cannot become Lord Shakra, the Lord of the heavens. You wonder, Didn't a woman become the Lord of the 33 heavens? Actually, she went from a woman to a man. Lord Shakra does not have a very much desire. Women tend to have a more lust, so they cannot become gods. The third obstruction for women is that they cannot become demon kings, which is best. The reason for this is that demon kings are tough and firm, while women are very weak. Sometimes they cannot take care of themselves, so that when certain things happen, they have to look for help. The fourth obstruction for women is that women cannot be wheel-turning sage kings. There are gold wheel sage kings, silver wheel sage kings, iron wheel sage kings, and copper wheel sage kings. Why cannot one become a wheel sage king in the body of a woman? It is became wheel-turning sage kings are most compassionate and kind. They teach rebels to practice the 5 precepts and the 10 good deeds. Women tend to be less compassionate and more envious. Consequently, they cannot become wheel-turning sage kings. The fifth obstruction for women is that they cannot become Buddhas, since the body of Buddhas comes with a myriad virtues, while the female body is full of evil, such as jealousy, obstructive tendencies, and pettiness, a heart the size of sesame. This is why women in their bodies cannot become Buddhas. Although women experience these 5 obstructions, if they can be free of jealousy, lust, and weakness, all the evils and tainted thoughts, then there is still hope for women to turn into men. Shariputra, for example, said the dragon girl cannot become a Buddha. So she took here her favorite pearl that she cannot possibly give up, and gave it to the Buddha. The Buddha accepted her pearl. She explained, I can become a Buddha now. The Buddha accepted the pearl I offered him. Is this fast? Shariputra responded, it is very fast. She said, the speed at which I become a Buddha is as fast as the speed at which I offered this pearl to the Buddha. After saying this, she became a Buddha immediately indeed. Women should not give up on themselves and lose hope because of these 5 obstructions. They should only be afraid that they are not bold enough in their resolves. Were they to bring forth the resolves boldly, they can become Buddhas too. For instance, the dragon girl offered her favorite pearl and became a Buddha immediately. Now, let me explain briefly women's 10 evils. I will not explain them in too much detail because of the time constraint. The first evil is that parents are unhappy that the newborn is a female. They would be happy if the baby were a male. Although not all parents are like this, most countries share the same attitude of favoring males over females. Girls leave a poor impression on their parents as soon as they are born. The second is that parents are not so interested in raising daughters. The third is that women are often afraid and shy. Conversely, men are not afraid of being embarrassed. The fourth is that parents worry about their daughter's marriage. Americans are different though. They do not care. You do whatever you want. The trends in countries such as China, for example, are that Chinese parents worry about what kind of husband their daughter will have. The fifth is that daughters will definitely leave their parents. The sixth is that women are afraid of their husbands. They are very cautious about their husband's emotions. A wife is happy if her husband is happy. A wife trembles in fear if her husband gets angry. The seventh is that giving birth is difficult and scary. The eighth is that people will blame and criticize a girl's parents for her meanness and debauchery. If a daughter does fine, okay, but if she goes awry, then her parents are affected. The ninth is that a woman's husband may order her about and restrain her with many rules. If she does not observe such rules, he may divorce her. is that a hustle. This is when she is young. When she is older, she faces the tenth evil of being slighted by her children and grandchildren. Her offspring may think, why does she not die? She is already old, so old. At that stage, even her children yell at her. Isn't that sad? So women are replete with trouble. The above are the 10 kinds of evils. There are actually 20 more, but we cannot finish telling them. What should women who detest their impure female bodies do? Suppose they wholeheartedly make offerings to images of a Bodhisattva such as paintings. The reason why I requested a drawing of a Bodhisattva here is that this helps women who do not wish to have a female body anymore. Or images of made of clay, stone, lacquer, brass, iron, or other materials. If they continually make offerings day after day without fail of flowers, incense, food, drink, clothing, colors, silks, banners, money, jewels, and other items, then when those good women finish their current female retributions, throughout thousands of millions of years, they will never again be born in worlds where there are women. What kind of a world is a world without women? It is the Western land of ultimate bliss. Much less be won unless they choose to, through the strength of their compassionate vows, in order to liberate beings. The only exception would be if they make the vow that I would be willing to be a woman to teach and transform living beings. Perhaps there are some among you who made vows of being a woman to save living beings. Although as a women now you do not wish to be women, but you became women because of the power of some compassionate vows. One example of this is the Buddha's mother, Lady Maya. She plays about the human realm in the Great Illusion Samadhi. She vowed that she would be the mother to every Buddha who is born in this world. Among the 1,000 Buddhas, Shakyamuni Buddha is the fourth. Lady Maya is the mother of all 1,000 Buddhas. This is her vow. Another example is Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, who is originally neither man or woman, but he knows that everybody likes beautiful women, so he appears as a very beautiful woman to save living beings in the Saha world. All of you should emulate Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and save beings, and not be converted by living beings. How do I mean? Saving living beings means making living beings leave suffering and attain bliss. Avoid running into the sea of suffering and be turned by the tides because you have no samadhi. Instead of living beings, you are involved in romance and infatuated with love. Although Kuan Yin Bodhisattva appears as a woman, she does not dwell on love. He wants to save living beings because he wants to save living beings out of the genuine wish to protect and rescue. She wanted to be a woman to save and liberate beings. Otherwise, based on the strength of their offerings to Earth's Bodhisattva and the power of their meritorious virtues, they will not be born with female bodies for hundreds of thousands of years.